Yes, I can. And so you are live. How are you doing?
Good, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Um I've been navigating through this time, just trying to stay busy and whatnot. How are you during this time?
We're doing good. Yeah, kind of same as you. Had to kind of navigate through all the changes that were going on, figure out how to keep ourselves relevant and afloat during this. Yeah, but we're doing good.
That's good. That's good to hear. And this is the first time we've gotten y'all on the online CBD Fair Market. And so, if a lot of people that don't know, we threw the very first San Antonio CBD Fair Market actually last June.
Hmm.
And so we're coming up on the year anniversary of that. And so y'all have been rocking with us this whole time. So we super appreciate it. And y'all have gone through some upgrades. So originally y'all were not Saint Mae. And so
Yeah.
if you can go ahead and let the people know what it is that y'all do and how y'all originated while
Okay.
I share this on a bunch of pages.
Okay. Okay. So I am Michelle Chavez. I am co-owner of Saint Mae. Um, Originally, we were known as Mae. We are a CBD edible company based here in San Antonio. We specialize in baked goods, so brownies, cookies, granola, stuff like that. Um, we got into the cannabis industry in 2018, but in April of 2017, myself, my husband David, who was also a co-owner, and my sister-in-law Christina, who was an original co-owner with us, we went on a trip to Denver, and through there's a tourism business up there called City Sessions. So they offer tours through the cannabis space up there in Denver. And we took an edible infusion class. So we learned how to make canna butter, oil, stuff like that. And we brought that back to San Antonio and started playing around with it for ourselves, basically just making edibles for ourselves, for our friends. Um, and my sister-in-law Christina, her part of the business was actually going to be body care and pet treats. She worked at Whole Foods, and so she was really knowledgeable on like organic, sustainable products, stuff like that, and that was really important to us. Um, and so while we were working on that around the same time, my husband David went to Oregon and he did an internship on a medical farm up there for about a month. Went to California, like the Bay Area, did some research for us on what we really needed to be doing to try to get into this industry. And so around the same time as that, our oldest daughter started struggling with some mental health issues. And the first thing they told us was, hey, you need to put her on this list of pharmaceuticals. And we weren't okay with that. We wanted to find alternate options for her to help her deal with what was going on. And so this is like around the same time that CBD was becoming like this really big buzzword. And we had already been familiar with it from our trip up to Denver. So we started her on a CBD tincture. Um, Within a week, noticed a huge improvement in her mood and her sleep. She was eating. She was basically like back to herself. Um, as a mom at that point, I told David, I said, hey, let's try to make some CBD edibles. I was like, we can use tinctures, we can try isolates, we can try whatever we can get our hands on. I said, because as a mom, I feel like I want to be able to offer products to other moms that it's okay to give to your kids, that they would feel comfortable with. And so that's basically what we did. So originally we were Caname. That was our original name that we went with. And then in August of 2018, we lost our business partner and David's sister, Christina, suddenly. She had a ruptured brain aneurysm. And so it caught everyone off guard. We really had to like take a step back and figure out what the hell we were going to do. Like, did we want to still do this without her. And so we took a good like 5 months off from doing anything Mae related. And then in January of 2019, we decided, you know what, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep doing this because that's what she would want us to do. We're going to do our part, which was making edibles. And yeah, and so we started just promoting ourselves and doing stuff like that. But at the same time, we wanted to have a name that was one that maybe would be easily more recognizable, that didn't have a negative stigma like associated with it. And so we changed our name officially to Saint Mae in October of 2019. We rebranded, we changed our logo. So now our logo encompasses my sister-in-law, Christina. It's actually her. If you look at the logo, like it's her face. So we wanted to make sure that she was still part of our business. We wanted to make sure that the initial ideas that we had were going to keep going forward. So that's why we've still chosen to use eco-friendly packaging. Everything is compostable, recyclable, because that was really important to her and really important to us too. So yeah, and then so we became Saint Mae in October of last year and have seen our business grown ever since we changed our name over. Yeah.
And it's very interesting that the name change happened in October, and the logo has that uh, Day of the Dead, Halloween vibe that goes on around that time. And so it's and just I definitely want to say I'm sorry for your loss. I didn't know as far as the origin story of that, but that's what makes it even more awesome, because it was like anytime that I personally had tried them, and I always like kept the package. I could probably look through some of my stuff, and I'm just like, I just always love the packaging, and the energy. The one thing that I noticed ever since y'all first would then with us is the fact that it was a family effort. And so with first getting into it by way of your children, what is your thoughts on as far as pushing more of awareness for children taking this, by way of, tincture like you were doing, or, safe to start eating, things that they already know, like cookies and things like that,
Mhm.
but in a way to where it's not like as stigmatized as they're going to take this and be like all high or something like that, So what is your thoughts on that, and how do you, ease parents' minds who have thought about using CBD or cannabis products to help their children, but are kind of, not sure on how to do that?
I think the number one thing is education. And that's a big thing for us. We want to be able to educate our community on number one, like what the cannabis plant can do, what CBD can do for you. And so I think if a parent is interested in trying a CBD product for their child, the number one thing they can do is educate themselves. Not all CBD products are made the same. Um, and I think by educating yourself and then in turn educating your child on like, hey, this is what we're going to try for you, this is how it's going to make you feel. um, I think by doing that, parents are already taking that next step and helping to break that stigma with their next generation, because I think that stigma is something that was passed down from like our parents generation to us. And it's our responsibility, I feel, to break that stigma, to let them know, hey, just because I'm a mom, I use cannabis, does not mean I'm a bad mom. Just because I've chosen to give it to my daughter who suffers from anxiety and depression and ADHD doesn't make me a bad mom, doesn't make her a bad kid. You can't automatically assume that she's a stoner, because she's not, but she uses this as medicine to help her function in life. And so I think that education is the most important thing when trying to break that stigma in families.
I 100% agree. And shout out to CBD Jesse with Chameleon CBD Inc. and Rob Booklum from Hemp for You CBD. Those are our comments as far as on this. And everyone who's tuned in, thank y'all for tuning in. We are live with Saint Mae. And, the education on many guests that I've had and through the talks of the CBD, especially in the CBD, I haven't heard this amount of push for education in the medical marijuana as far as THC spectrum. There's been push as far as to legalize it, different things like that. And I know people have, made lots of efforts as far as knowledge and awareness of the different things. But I feel like in the CBD world, it's almost like you're saying, we have to take it upon ourselves. But the big thing that I do continue to hear is the fact that we do have to continue to educate. So, and what are some ways that you think that we can do more education for people who aren't about that, like, research life, like they're
Yeah.
just like, what, I feel you, but yeah, I'm not about to go into diving into this. So how can we, what are some ways that you think of that we can help educate them?
I think really you can, when, like for us, we did a lot of education at markets and pop-ups. Um, that was David's focus. Like, talk to the people who have questions, explain to them. But really, right now, we can't do that. We're not doing that. So I think one way to continue to do that is to push that through your social media content, to put that on your website, um, to have open conversations through your social media, like on your Instagram stories. You want to ask a question about CBD, ask us, we'll answer it as best we can. I think that's right now, that's one way to navigate through it.
And yeah, I think you're 100% right, especially with content. In this day and age, we're able to do some amazing stuff. Like, I am in the works of like a kind of like basic 101 workshop where, it's recorded, just like this, and I'm able to use different screenshots and screen shares and different things like that. But based on all the events and the people that I've had as guests, and based on people's questions in general around me, I feel like there's more courses that can be done online. One of the things that I'm gonna do, I'm not sure if you've taken it, but I know Hemp Tours has a free online course, and so I want to check that out and do like a little video of doing that. I think that through the content, especially with diving into, the endocannabinoid system, that's the
Yeah,
system that we didn't get taught in school, but as you know, it's a very
it's
important
important. Yeah.
system. Like, it's, and so I think that this word and this stigma that's been carried on for generations of a plant that heals, it's I feel like the rejection of it is actually rejecting a part of ourselves. And I feel like that reverberates into a lot of what we're seeing with the protests and a lot of what we're seeing with the injustices, because it's just all like, by denying the information and awareness, of this, there's things that I feel like it would be fun to see a kid's endocannabinoid class, like a worksheet or something, like including it into, we hear about the circulatory system and, different things like that. But, I want to see like these different models and diagrams, in a fun way. Like, I want to see the Bill Nye of this shit,
Yeah,
like
that would be awesome if they would offer something like that for kids. Absolutely. Like, so our youngest, she's about to be 10, and we were open with her a lot earlier about cannabis just because of the business than we were with our two older kids. But I think that's important too. But I think you have to have parents who are open to cannabis and understand it, to want to um, start educating their kids about it. Because like they have red ribbon week at school and things like that, and so like our youngest came home and she was like, they're saying these things. She's like, is it true? And we had to have that talk with her, like, well, not really, but she knows, she knows what we're doing. And yeah, I mean, education, I think for all ages is important. Something that David and I have done once, and we hope to continue doing it, is an infusion class. Take, what we've learned, what we do, and offer that to other people, like in a private party setting, and teach them how to make their own canna butter or canna oil so they can make their own medicine at home, infuse their own foods with it. So that's something we're working towards. Kind of got derailed a little with this COVID stuff. We couldn't, keep pushing them. But that's something we're hopefully looking to get back into pretty soon.
I think that would be super amazing, and I'll probably talk to you off the live about it
Okay.
further. But I want to, with a lot of the vendors that I've had, I want to try to work on like some type of cool little 101 course, and so
Okay.
it can go through basics as far as CBD, and then get into a little bit of infusion as far as have y'all do like a on camera type of different information and different things like that, and it can all be like little modules that people can download, and if they want to go into more details, then they can get with you personally and book like a consultation or a class based on that. But they can at least get the basics. Just a lot of times a lot of people just don't know the terminology. And,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of different things when you go into full spectrum and isolates. And, someone who probably is just an average person who is just like, what? This seems fun, or this seems cool. I want to do something in it, and they don't have a lick of bacon experience, or they don't have a lick of, any type of
Yeah.
anything like that. I want to be able to have some type of 101 course for it. And so, one thing that I mentioned before was the fact that, when y'all are at these events, y'all have y'all's children. So how important is it for y'all, and for you to instill that within your children, as far as for them to see y'all pursuing y'all's goals and y'all's dreams, in this aspect? Is that something that y'all meant to do, or is that something that
Absolutely.
is important to y'all to show entrepreneur?
It absolutely is something that we did on purpose. We want to show them that if you're passionate about something, something is important to you, and it's something that you want to do, you can do it. You gotta, figure out a plan. They see us down to packaging. I mean, everything. All three of them have seen us do everything, and I think it shows them. It shows them the drive to get what you want done. It shows them like you can rely on yourself to make it. Yeah. Um, and it's important. They our kids are 18, 17, and about to be 10. So they're not little kids. They understand school is important. Work ethic is important, and our culture is important. So they, yeah, absolutely. We did it so that they knew that if at any point they wanted to pursue something for themselves, that they're capable of doing it.
All right, and for y'all that are tuned in, I am here with Saint May, San Antonio's very own. And so we were just talking about as far as, being a parent and, allowing your children to see you work your entrepreneurial work, and I think that it's very interesting because us as people as color in the CBD cannabis world, a lot of times we're stuck as far as how to participate, and so the cool thing that I really like that y'all are able to do is that y'all are still able to keep culture within as far as your logo and with what it is that you create, so how important is it, to be able to put your culture into what it is that you do, and do you feel like that's something that has helped with bringing more joy into your life?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So culture is super important to us. You know, being Latinos in this cannabis space, we know that there's racial disparities. Not everyone is treated equally. And so it was important for us to be proud of who we were, be proud of where we came from. And in that, we were able to incorporate things that are important uh, to our culture through our treats that we make. The number one prime object or that we make is our abuela's brownie, which is a Mexican hot chocolate infused brownie. It's something that when we came up with it, it was something that we wanted to remind us of, you know, mornings or evenings spent with our grandparents, things like that. And so we continued that through other recipes that we have. And it was a way to kind of be able to reach our own community, right? Like, hey, like we got your back. We know that there's a negative stigma attached to this plant, but that's it. It's just a stigma. It's not how it really is. So these are flavors. These are things that people in our community are going to be familiar with, and um, that they know that it's coming from people in their same community. As far as community too, it was also important for us to try to remind people, I guess, of our same culture that, the word marijuana is a negative term that was given to this plant. So we try, anytime we're out vending, anytime we're talking with, customers, people like that, we always want to use the word cannabis, just to get back to the original term. So that way we're helping to remove that negative stigma that is rampant throughout our community.
And I think that's super awesome too, because that was one of the things that I thought was so cool about y'all's packaging was the names for several of the products. And so, if you can, what was the very first product? And if you can go down like a list of like the products and the names that you have for them. And if you
Yeah.
have any that you have that you can show us too, definitely. But if not, it's all good.
Okay. So, okay.
There we go.
So the very first cookie we ever did was the Suanina's Galleta, right? So it's your basic chocolate chip cookie. You can't go wrong with that. But the name, so my sister-in-law, her name was Christina. And when my kids were little, they could not say her name. So she was always Nina. So, and chocolate was her favorite. So this cookie is actually named after her, right? So this is our packaging. This is a plant-based plastic, which is compostable. The topper with all the nutritional info and stuff like that. That's made from 100% recyclable paper. Um, so our other products that we have, let me see. So we do, the next one that we did was our limoncito, which is a lemon crinkle cookie. There's all kinds of names for it, but we wanted to keep our culture relevant. So that's why we named it limoncito. We have an oatmeal raisin. It's just your basics. It's a standard oatmeal raisin. The only thing we did different with it was we like golden raisins. So we kind of switched it up and put those in there. We have our Abuela's brownie, which is a Mexican hot chocolate brownie. And then we also have our Snickerdoodle, which is a vegan gluten-free Snickerdoodle cookie. And then the last product that we have is our berry yummy granola. So it's a blueberry granola. That one is gluten-free. It's made with an organic hemp seed blend. It's got almonds, local honey, things like that. And so those are our products that we offer. Also, though, with our products, we always try to use fresh, local, and organic ingredients in all our products. That's something that's important to us to offer. We use local farmers. Like for during the holidays, we make a Mexican wedding cookie, right? Polvorones, which is like a pecan shortbread cookie rolled in confectioner's sugar. And so for those, we used local. They're pecans from a Fredericksburg farm. So yeah. So and the honey we use is from a Fredericksburg farm also. So we try to keep it Texas, keep it organic, keep it local in all of our products. And so we do offer. So we have we have three of our items are gluten free. So our oatmeal raisin, our Snickerdoodle, and then our granola are gluten free. Our vegan one is the Snickerdoodle, and then we also can offer sugar-free options if that's something that people would like. We can do those as custom orders. One thing I did want to share is the CBD that we use in our products. So that was kind of like a little journey of ours also to find the right type of product to put in our baked goods. And so last year we settled on a company called Elmore Mountain Therapeutics. It's a woman-owned farm and company out of Vermont, Oregon. Everything there is small batch. It's lab tested. This is their logo. So on Instagram they are EMT CBD. So all of our products are baked with this. Yeah.
That is super awesome. And if there's like a pause in between, it's because I muted.
Okay.
But no, that is super amazing because there is, when I think about local, and shout out the Hemp Tours, they said that we love Saint Mae. They got the
Yay,
little
Hemp
heart
Tours.
sign and everything. So shout out the Hemp Tours. And so that's one of the interesting things that I feel like I can taste within y'all's products, because it's just it's my thing is that even though I'm trying to eat better, and I went vegan for almost 4 years, and then I went back to eating meat and different things like that. The one thing that I love is pastries. I love treats. And getting these healthy alternatives, because the lemon one that I got that from y'all, that's probably like one of my favorite one, and the hot fudge one, the brownie one, yeah,
The
that
Abuela's
one's
brownie,
super
yeah.
amazing. I have yes, that one is so amazing. What was the reasoning behind getting as far as those particular portion sizes? Because it's like it's almost just the right amount, like I would definitely go in on like a whole dozen of them, but they're not like too big, they're also not like super micro tiny, but they're such a really great size. So I want to know, like, what was the meaning behind that, and also what does it do to not have the taste of CBD within it? Because I've tasted other people's products, and you can kind of taste, whether it be THC or the CBD, you can taste it. But with y'all's, you couldn't even tell, and you're just walking on sunshine. So
Yeah.
let us know the thought.
Yeah. So with that, you're right. Like it's easy to get carried away with baked goods, right? So it's easy to eat a lot, but we felt like, as far as like a single serving size like this, I'll be honest, it's because, you know, like in our community, diabetes is everywhere, right? So many people have it. And even though like not all of our products have a low sugar content, with like the size of the products that we serve, we're kind of able to control like the calories and things like that. So yeah, like on this cookie, it's 12 grams of carbs in this one by itself, which is still a little high, but it's better than if you had a bigger cookie, then it would be double that size, right? So I mean, it's that was kind of the reasoning behind the smaller size. We didn't want it too small where you wanted to like overindulge, but we didn't want it to be too much where you couldn't get the full benefit of the CBD in it if you didn't eat it all at the same time. And so as far as like the not being able to taste it, so actually the Elmore Mountain Therapeutics, this tincture that we get from them is in hemp seed oil. So it's pretty, you can, without it being baked, you can taste the plant matter in it a lot. And so when we started rebranding, our brand manager, Tanya Rosenzweig, she suggested that we do blind testing. So we sent her a bunch of products. She lives up in Austin area. So we sent her a bunch of products. She gave them out to people. They did some questionnaires on the products as far as like the taste and stuff like that. They got back to us and on what they thought maybe like the improvement should be, or what it was missing, what it was lacking. And so from there, we kind of reworked all of the recipes. Not 100%. Some things it was just like a small little, we need to add a little bit of more cinnamon to this, or, you know, something like that, to make sure that when you're eating the baked good, you're tasting the baked good, not just tasting like the cannabis that's in it. Yeah. And so, I mean, that's really what we wanted to do. We wanted you to be able to enjoy it without it tasting straight up like cannabis. I mean, in some of the items that we make, you can still taste it. I mean, it's there. It's just not overpowering anymore from the flavor. And so, yeah, so that was important to us. You know, the portion size, like I said before, you know, diabetes is a really big thing in Hispanic communities. And so we wanted to help battle that by offering smaller treats with smaller sugar or less sugar content than, you know, regular baked goods would have. Sugar-free. We do have sugar-free items too that we,
you know, and that's super amazing, because it's like you can, with everything and everyone that's tuning in, you know, the one thing we can definitely see is how much work that y'all do to make sure that y'all, you know, it really is love. You know, it's like being able to think about the portion sizes because of culture, you know, to be able to think about as far as, you know, these questionnaires and feedback, and actually be able to, you know, make those changes because you want to make sure that you're delivering a great product. And so, you know, I you had talked about as far as how you got as far as within CBD and with using it with your children. So what is your cannabis story? Like, how did it first come about, your cannabis story? So like, what was the first time that the plant was introduced to you and you tried it? Oh, thank you.
oh God, it was maybe sophomore in high school, 15, 16, around there. So, and it was more of like a rebellion thing for me. My dad actually worked with the DEA. He was in the Air Force for like 20 years. He worked with the DEA. I was like, it was instilled in me how wrong it was, right? Like, and, you know, at the same time, like, I already knew David at that point, and his ideas on it were completely different. Friends were doing it, and I was like, it can't be that bad, right? Like, so I mean, I think the first time I tried, I think I was a sophomore in high school, and I kind of just did it socially, right? Hanging out with friends, things like that. But as far as like using it daily, medicinally, that actually didn't probably start until about 2017 to help myself with like my own mental issues that I had. And honestly, like it was able to, because I used to take pharmaceuticals, the same things I wanted to prevent my daughter from going through were things that I had gone through already. And so once I was started using cannabis regularly and medicinally, I was able to get off of all my medications like that. And so it's been about 3 years that I, started using it daily. But I honestly feel like it's been a lifesaver for me. It's let me be a better mom, a better wife, a better businesswoman. I understand more like what I'm trying to do for people. And it's helped me to take that love that I have for baking and put that into the products that we're making.
And like I said, we can definitely taste that. It's what we can definitely taste it. And so one of the things that, with being a business that has to deal a lot with your interaction with the product, how has this affect you as far as with COVID, and what are some of the precautions that y'all are taking as creating these bakery products?
Oh yeah. So I mean, so okay. So touching on like the COVID thing. So obviously, like the main way we used to be able to reach out to our community was through markets and pop-ups, and so that stopped. We kind of, for the first couple of weeks of COVID, kind of tried to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Like, how do we still reach our community to offer these products to them? And we thought about doing giveaways because, I mean, at that point, I think a lot of us were kind of struggling mentally with everything that was going on. And so we felt like, well, if I'm struggling, there's other people, other moms, other women, husbands, whatever, that are struggling with what's going on because maybe you lost your job, or, just maybe your family's at risk and it's scary. And so we started doing giveaways actually to give back to the community. We did, I want to say like 3 or 4 of them. We did one with Grow House, Texas. We did one with Mary J from Mother's Day. We did one like that. We did one with Friends of Sound. They did like a little scavenger hunt. So we did those, and we we did it as a way to give back, but at the same time, that helped drum up a lot of business for us. And so we made sure that, number one, cleanliness is important in our kitchen. Right, everything is sanitized. We wear hairnets. We use gloves for packaging. Gloves are changed regularly. And then something we offered we still offer it now, but was free delivery. And we did free contactless delivery. Like, hey, we'll let you know we're on our way. We're going to leave this on your porch. And so that way we reduced as much contact with people as possible to keep everybody safe.
No, that is super awesome. Like the scavenger hunt thing, like, the one thing that I am fascinated by is just how different companies are being innovative. Because when this first all happened, a good chunk of my income came from shows as well. Besides going shows, I would visit shows as a vendor as well, or perform or different things like that. And so once that had stopped, it was a lot of like, all right, well, now I have to get innovative again, and try to figure out, the next thing to do. So I was watching this webinar, and it was talking about brands during this time and what they can do, and a lot of what I've learned, and for people that are listening in, when you do these things as far as like giveaways and different things like that, sometimes you may run a risk if like maybe you don't believe in your stuff, because it's just all like when you give something away, when you do something like that, especially with products like this, because now people can be like, oh, this was delicious. And I'm in quarantine and I would love for these to be delivered to me. Like, so I put in an order, and be able to have that, delivered to me. And so when what are some of the ways that as a business that y'all go through to try to innovate and stay on top of things to still be able to balance, for one, reaching and being able to connect with audience, but also being able to sustain as a business, because sometimes people feel like they have to sacrifice one or the other. And I feel like y'all do a great job of balancing giving back and being able to sustain as a business. So what are some of the ways that y'all go about being able to do that?
Number one, staying educated, I think. Looking to see what kind of trends are going on, what we can do to give back to our community, looking at what other businesses are doing to stay relevant. And then looking at like the needs of our community. Like the very first giveaway, that we did was, are you struggling right now? Because we're struggling. Like, we want to help you. And I never want us to sacrifice who we are as people for our business, right? Like, we are genuine people. We want to help. That's why we got into this. We're passionate about what this plant can do for people. And number one, it's okay if you struggle. It's, but we want to help you if you're struggling. And so that was the real reasoning, like, behind the giveaways is, if I'm struggling, then I know you're struggling, and let me help you. Like, you may not have the resources to purchase our products right now, but let's help someone that, is going to benefit from these products. And I think it's like this fine line you have to walk, because you don't, as a business owner, obviously revenue is important, but at the same time, the community that you serve, I believe, is just as important. And that's something that I feel like David and myself learned a lot from Shop Mary J up in Austin. They're really the ones who gave us like a chance in the beginning. They've been our mentors, so to say, right? Have helped us, and we see the things that they've done for their, number one, the cannabis community in Austin, for the LGBTQ community in Austin, for people of color in Austin, and we see how important that is. And so when we started doing giveaways, it was because we wanted to be able to reach our community and help them, when they're struggling.
Okay, yes, and I commend y'all for that, because I feel like, and I think that I'm not a parent, but I feel like hopefully being a parent helps with that, because it's like you're having to think outside yourself, but in the same time, you're having to maintain yourself to be able to, to take care of your family, So I definitely commend y'all, because that's super awesome. Hemtor said they are awesome and bar setters of the industry for sure.
Thank you,
So
Hemtor.
yeah, that is something that a lot of people feel like they can't take that they can't take that cut, and one thing that I'm learning is that, it's a legacy, thing. It's not a short term type of thing. And I can tell that y'all aren't in it for a short term thing, because what y'all are said is a
Yeah.
lot of why I want to be able to have people like y'all self on here and highlight y'all, because it's just all like not a lot of people know, so I want for people to see that there's different ways, for one, for people in the cannabis and CBD world, but also within your community, you're able to do so much, especially in the CBD world, and especially with something like with food. That is such a very intimate practice, of what you intake. So being able to give somebody that relief, and be able to relax and just have, these awesome brownies and cookies. Let the people know. I know things are starting to open back up. I'm still kind of hesitant on when I want to put an exact date on certain things, but what do y'all have coming up? Any new products that are coming about, or any event that's set up, coming up soon?
So as far as products, we are working on some things right now. I'm not ready to reveal it yet, okay? But we are working on some new stuff. As far as markets and pop-ups, we haven't really seen too much open up here in San Antonio yet, and we don't know how comfortable we are hopping right back into that as soon as it's open. But so we're working on getting those infusion classes started, finding somewhere to have them, how to reach out to people for, it'd be something like max 10 people. So it's like an intimate setting, right? With a meal that's provided. Another thing is, people can always reach us through our Instagram. It's Saint Mae TX. Saint is spelled out. Message us on there if you want products. We've got a link to our website. We've got a link to an order form in there if you want to order from us. And we're going to keep doing that. That's not going to go away. And I don't know when we'll be ready to get back out there in pop-ups and stuff like that. But Kevin, I wanted to say that something that we're trying to do also is people who have been protesting and have been hurt by police officers or things like that. We're actually looking to do a giveaway for someone like that also. So we're going to be talking more about that on our Instagram going forward. Probably sometime this week, we're going to start putting that together. Because CBD, it helps with pain, it helps with inflammation. If, you've been hurt by something, it's better if you can use a natural remedy, something that can also help with your mental health from something like that. Because our son has gone twice. He's 18. He's just about to graduate in a couple weeks from high school. And as a mom, as parents, we were so proud of him for going out there and for doing his part. But at the same time, it was super scary. Like, that's my baby. And if he gets hurt out there, like, that's not okay. And so lots of people's kids are out there right now and they're getting hurt and it's not okay. And so, so our next giveaway that we're going to do is going to be to someone who has been affected directly by that.
That is so amazing, and yes, definitely let me know, and that way I can be able to put it on the San Antonio meetup, and through the Tech CBD Fair page, and we can regram it. I think that's going to be super amazing. That's one thing that that's been in my head a lot more lately, is just really. And not necessarily lately, it's the reason why I did the CBD Fair Market in very specific places, because it's just all like, when we think about how health is affecting people of color and have been for generations, a lot of that is stemming from, stress, stress the F out, just in general. And, I feel like CBD, cannabis, I feel like these are all can really, really help to be able to get away from like the side effects of, like taking a pill, all the time and different things like that. And a lot of people aren't looking for a band-aid, and so it's just all like they want something that isn't just, maintaining, the symptoms and stuff, so I've been really big on trying to focus on that as well. So I'm excited. So before I let you go, I always like to have the guests leave the people with some tips or some words of encouragement during this time, and also after that, if you can let the people know what are you binging right now on Netflix or Hulu? What is the family watching? What is your quarantine binge list right now?
Okay, so some encouraging words to the community right now. Don't give up. I know we are living through one of the craziest years that most of us, our generation, have ever faced. As far as COVID, as far as the Black Lives Matter, racial injustice, but keep your head held high. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of where you came from. And if there's something that you believe is worth fighting for, then keep fighting for it. For us, it's racial equality. For us, it's equality through the cannabis space. Fight for what's important to you. Don't let other people's opinions or words dissuade you from what's important to you. And then, as far as what we're binging, we have been watching a lot of Hamilton's Pharmacopoeia, actually. So that's on Hulu that we've been watching. What have we been binging on Netflix? Not really. I mean,
The Hentified and all that.
oh, we saw Hentified. I love Vida. That one's on Stars. That one just finished. Yeah, so we were not watching tons of TV right now. We're spending more time with our kids than anything. But yeah, that's kind of what we've been doing.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely check those out. I think I guess I got caught up in the fourth season of Rick and Morty. So I finished. I got caught up on that. That was very interesting. And then I'm an anime fan, so I've been
Okay.
trying to, get my Black Clover on, but a lot of the shows that normally come out weekly, as far as the anime, it's been like on a hiatus because of COVID, and so I'm like.
Right.
I'm reading the manga, and then like the anime is like on this hiatus, and I'm like, fuck, like I need to know what's going to go down, So, uh, but uh, but yeah, that's pretty. Other than that, I've been indulging in a lot of just information. Honestly, I found out that you can take like a free archaeology class online, and I was like, oh, that is super legit. And then SpaceX just had their flight, and that stuff's going on here in Texas. So I'm just all
Yeah.
like, oh, this is pretty awesome. But I want to say thank y'all so much for being a part of the community and what y'all do for the community and being a part of the events and being a guest today. You and your husband and your family, thank y'all so much.
Thank
And
you.
let the people know where they can find you. Website. I have your Instagram scrolling at the bottom,
Okay.
but
Yeah, but first of all, Kevin, thank you for what you're doing for Texas, for CBD, for cannabis. It's important, the platform that you've given to businesses right now, and we appreciate you for that. Um, Especially people of color. That's very important. Um, you can reach us. Let's see. Our website is saintmaetx.com. We are on both Instagram and Facebook as Saint Mae TX. Saint is spelled out. But yeah, you can reach us through those three ways.
all right. Well, thank you so much, and y'all enjoy y'all Saturday. And I'm gonna edit this so that way I'll send you the individual video when it's done. But thank y'all so
Okay.
much. I'll talk
All
to y'all
right.
soon.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. Bye.